Today, we're going to talk about what gets us back to some of the biggest generative allowances that we have inside of the real estate market. And I'm afraid there's still a lot of us out there that don't take advantage of this very simple technique. And we forget that because they didn't train us to do this when we got our license, maybe we shouldn't be taking the time and the effort to do it this way. But real estate farming and becoming a go-to agent in not just your community, but in a small area, in a golden neighborhood, is critical to your success. I'm here to tell you my experience. Farming for real estate business is the most lucrative and dependable lead generation strategy for all real estate agents, period, bar none. It's very easy to get started, very reasonably inexpensive. And you can think about it this way. Your commission from selling just one home can pay for all of your farming efforts throughout the year and generate 10 times the contacts and the leads from one closing that you will never get from any other type of lead gen. So what is farming and how does it relate to real estate? Real estate farming itself, again, it's a lead generation. It's a marketing strategy. Agents use this to generate very consistent business from a geographic area. And I'll talk about why I specify geographic in just a moment. But agents farm a specific neighborhood by providing very consistent value while they are generating leads that evolve into long-term clients through relationships. This practice is also going to help build a very reliable business model. Ultimately, the goal is going to be become your local expert, go-to agent, if you will, for a particular geographic area. And I keep pushing on that word because geographic farming should not be confused by other things we're talking about inside of our coaching every week, which would be demographic farming. Demographic, you're focusing on the marketing efforts of a certain set of people, such as first-time homebuyers, senior citizens, military relocations, which we just talked about a few weeks ago, or even equestrian or golfing communities. You can read more about that in some of our blogs on our website. If you haven't gone to the Keystone website before, KeystonePropertyConsulting.com. Very valuable information there and quick information about how you can get in touch with us and the different things that we do. And of course, markers to be able to get back to this show. So how to approach real estate farming is ultimately 4 steps, 4 and only 4. Choose your neighborhood, plan your content, set up a tracking system, deliver the value. So let's walk them from the top to the bottom, shall we? Targeting the right neighborhood. Number 1, the success of your farming strategy is going to totally depend on you choosing the right area. A good farm is going to include between 100 and 250 homes, noting that each of the home that you add to your farm is going to increase your budget. You're looking for consistency, and this will quickly add up. And you have to be careful because if you're just pounding on the same dirt and it's not producing value, you need to know when it's time to pull up stakes and build a new farming area. But again, we'll talk about that. A lot of agents start with way too many homes. They cannot keep up. They drop their farming effort in just a few months because they're simply trying to work way too much area, spreading themselves too thin and spreading their budget even thinner. You need to keep your farming area small so that you can maximize the effort and lead generation probability. Napkin math, let's make it simple for everybody, right? Find an area where there's healthy demand, homes are actively listed, and you get a solid turnover rate. There is absolutely no point in farming an area that is not very active. I don't care if it's the best neighborhood in town. If you're only going to sell one house out of it in a 5-year market, that's a problem. You shouldn't. Feel free to drop in some flyers if you've got the extra money, but ultimately you're looking for an area that turns the most revenue, turns the most crop. And yes, I'm going to stay on these farming examples the entire time today. So to get the rate of the homes, you heard me say turnover rate. I want you to just look back 1 year, look over 12 months. How many homes were listed for sale in the area you're looking at? How many of them sold? You can very quickly find this information on Zillow. You can easily find it on the MLS. You want to know the rate of the homes sold to tell us how many months of inventory are in that neighborhood. So take your time. Let's say 1 year, 365 days. Divide that by the number of homes sold. For example, if there were 16 homes sold in this farming area last year, you can divide 365 days by 16 homes sold, and you're going to get 22.8. So now we know that in that farm area, the rate of the home sale is roughly 23 days, right? Stick with me. We're going to get to the absorption rate. To do this, you're going to multiply the number of the homes sold by the rate of the homes sold. Sticking with that same example, you're going to have 2 active listings in the farm. So we're going to do 2 times 22.8, which is going to get you to 45.6, or about 1.5 months. That is a reasonable absorption rate. The average is going to vary, but the quick rule, you're looking for less than 3 months. As long as you can maintain less than 3 months, you're on track. So now that you know that the current market condition of the farm you've chosen is pretty hot, as long as your market condition remains consistent, you should continue to farm there. Next, you're going to gather information about the farm area and get to know the market backward and forward. In addition to understanding the average sales prices, the days on the market, you're going to need to know the average age, income of the homeowners, typical home style, age and income of the workers in the community, local employers, upcoming developments, zoning and permitting regulations, neighborhood amenities, local agents that are your competition, people that have sold and listed properties inside that community. There's plenty of tools inside the MLS to already do this for you. And certainly there's market reports like Altos Research that you can populate that information very quickly. But ultimately, arm yourself with the neighborhood knowledge that you need, and this is going to immediately help you stick out when you're building leads from your efforts. Number 2, plan how and when to deliver the value to your farm. Agents crushing the neighborhood farming game are going to deliver very consistent value to the residents in that area. Successful outreach is going to be more than just papering the neighborhood with your branded message. It's about offering something that helps locals be attracted to you and the area, a market report, a local event strategy, a social media group, or even a neighborhood website. These are the things that are going to help you always be in the face and always understand what that community is looking for. The neighborhood strategy is going to go a long way to easily establish you as that local expert. So very easy to do. Once a month, once a month, send out the postcards to your farm. We like postcard media. They work very well for us. Their designs are simple. It's easy to utilize them. Try to include images of recently sold properties. No, they do not have to be yours, but obviously there's a lot more clout to it. But make sure that you're advertising correctly. A lot of homes are selling in your neighborhood. Have you tried our strategy to sell your home for maximum pricing in the shortest amount of time? That's it. Your farm is going to recognize the homes. They're going to absolutely understand how they can associate you with the neighborhood, and that you understand the activity that's going on around them. Number 3, make a plan so that you can manage and track those leads as they come in. Your real estate leads are going to differ from those that you pay for or capture on your website. So be sure that you're tracking them separately. Solid customer relationship manager, CRM, is going to allow you to tag farm contacts individually. Tagging is critical for you to be able to see at the end of your sales cycle, where's your money coming from? Where are you spending the most? Where are you getting the most lucrative prospects? Where are your leads generating from? You may find that you're paying for Zillow, you're paying for Realtor.com, you're doing direct marketing, and you're doing farming. Which one's turning the most crop? Period. It's also going to help you automate some of your digital communications, like your emails and your text messages to these folks. It'll also help you create a record of the value that you're delivering over the life of your farming activity. And again, this is a minimum of a 1-year requirement for you to be able to farm a year successfully. You cannot jump into a neighborhood, blast them for a quarter, and expect to turn results. It's simply not going to happen. People have been ahead of you. You've already got competition in the area. Nobody expects you to be a brand name overnight by not being recognized. It's also going to create a record of value for you that you're going to start delivering over the life of the farming activity. Plus, if you can track carefully each reply that you get, you can even ensure prompt follow-up. So every single point of contact has a measurable return on that value. If you still don't have a CRM of value, God knows I have demoed plenty of them. I have used several of them simultaneously, doubling my own efforts just to see where one CRM might create better value than another. I will tell you that as far as pricing goes, this one is probably one of the highest costs in a CRM, but the value absolutely pays for itself. I can tell you, it's very easy to see when a CRM is creating effort or duplicating efforts for you while you're asleep and doing the work for you while you're out creating direct relationships with your client, as opposed to you doing all of this hustle manually and pulling up your moleskin binder and doing all this hand. I got to tell you, one of my top picks for best overall CRM is Lion Desk, period. It's owned and operated by Lone Wolf Technologies. It is still reasonably affordable, packed with real estate specific features and ideal for farming. And certainly not that they owe me a sponsorship, but if I'm going to keep bragging on you guys, you might want to come to the table soon. Number 4, start delivering value. You have chosen the right farm area. So make a plan to deliver very consistent value. You need to set up the system to manage and track your interactions. So now it's time to automate those communications and set out a high-touch outreach with your postcards and your market updates. Successfully farming an area is going to combine long-term automated communication and smart day-by-day personal follow-up. As we have said in the past,